Here we go. I'll show you a little trick here. Got this piece of cable, short little piece. Make some straps out of it. It got broke. If I remember right, I was pulling with this one, and I think it flipped over. The block flipped over, and it wasn't running through the block, and it snapped it off. And we'll tie some farmer eyes in it and make a little strap out of it. Farmer eye isn't going to be as good as tying an eye in it, but they hold pretty good. They'll let go before the cable parts, but they hold pretty good. So let me try and find the spot here. So maximize this. We got this is unraveled a little. We'll be cutting a chunk of this off, but we'll twist these right back in line with everything else. So then we'll come back here. It's not rocket science, but it is going to do some damage to this axe head. So I got this world's stupidest splitter. I think it's called a chopper or something. Some people rant and rave about it. Picked one of these up at a yard sale. It's the biggest piece of junk ever, but it works good to beat on. It's about time to take the grinder to it and touch it up. Because it rolls it over, but that's why I don't do it on one of my good axes. Then I'll just take an angle grinder and touch that up. So let's see here. So what you want to do is you want to identify a single strand. This will be, I have a core on it. So we get that one started. And we'll take the one next to it, the one next to that. We get them started. That's going to leave 4 total here, and then it'll leave 3 that we're peeling, and now we're peeling them all together. We're unraveling it. You can go back up here, twist those 3 together. Now I'll show you another method that we'll use on this other end, which the method with the axes is definitely a good one for when you're up in the woods and you break one, you can tie it together. Just a little 4.5 with a cutoff wheel. There we go. Now it's nice and clean to do it, but the obvious bonehead thing not to do is go in with your bare hands and grab hold of that quite yet, because it's a little warm. Give it a minute to cool off, and you get in there to get one of these individual strands started. Then we'll move forward to the next. And then get that one. See, that makes a lot cleaner of a cut on them. And I'll wrap the end of the 3 back together, and then I'll start twisting this off. This is going to be a pretty short strap, but now we got enough here. We'll do a tighter little eye. Maybe we'll do 1 or 2 more. And you gotta look. See, that doesn't really want to lay in there. So we'll come around this way. We'll actually go 1 tighter on it here. There we go. Just, you can make these come out just the right length to where they just kind of tie together at the bottom, but I at least think they're a little bit stronger if you got a little tail on them, that little bit sticking out. Otherwise, right here you end up with just 3 strands holding right there, and I find it often breaks right there if you don't do the little tail. So the tail doesn't get it perfectly through there, but because you always have that little gap right there. But the other thing without a tail is sometimes you can see this one's actually going to have a shorter tail than I prefer, but without this little tail on there, you have the potential for it to try and unravel. So there we go. See, it's nice and tight. The tail comes in. Figure out where I set my electrical tape down at. Right behind the camera. And I'll start just a little bit in like that and give her several wraps. And this tape will wear off. I'll put some back on, but tape a little there. It's not perfect, but it helps keeping from getting like a little stick or something in there, trying to pull up on that. What I've heard of a lot of people doing that they say makes these stronger, you can make your own judgment there. So put 1 cable clamp right here. It may make it stronger. It's definitely going to keep it from trying to pull out, but I can guarantee you it isn't going to hurt anything either. But now that's set up pretty good. Short little strap. Those are handy to, you can use them as a choker, you can anchor your block with it, whatever. If I'm anchoring a block on a tree, here we go. Here we got 1 more. This eye was actually still on there, but it was kind of beat up. This one has a bit of a twist to it. So there we go. Sometimes getting in there, it's real hard, especially after you cut it with a grinder. Sometimes they stick just a touch. Get in there with a screwdriver or pocket knife. And then see what I'm doing here is I'm twisting them off all together, and the beginning ones that I pulled one at a time, you can stick them back together like that. And then you get that. Probably be advisable to wear gloves. The downside to wearing gloves is you lose some of that dexterity on it. But it's all up to whether you care if you jab a piece of cable in the end of your finger. It hurts a little. Guess what you got to be careful of is you could get a little piece that breaks off in there. Fester up, but then out the end. See, that one's trying to get out of line there. You just kind of cinch it up. Then we push this one over here. Maybe have to show some more of this one. My oldest daughter loves to run the camera for me, and I'll maybe have to do this again when she's here, because it's almost impossible for me to get a steady spot to where I can set the camera there and give her a real good view. Then maybe I'll upload another one. You guys just let me know if that's something you're interested in. I can give you a more detailed view. Could take it into the bench and really kind of dissect it, but it is just kind of a hack. And real quick, I've always called them a farmer's eye. They're not as good as, like I said, tying an eye in, but it worked. Definitely not OSHA approved or whatever your safety department where you might be is, but works good enough for dragging some firewood logs. So let's get this cable all coiled up. I'd show you how to do that, but I suck at it, so you're not going to learn anything from me on that one. So get this off.